Alright you guys, what's happening? Welcome back to another matchday reaction. This time we're talking Aberdeen 2, Hearts 0, or more appropriately, the Sam Cosgrove Apology Hour. I've been unable to do the last 3 reviews for various different reasons. I won't lie, the last couple of weeks have been a fucking nightmare, but I'm alright. Granted, I feel like shit the day, but what can you do? But an Aberdeen win today really perked me up. That's 4 on the bounce, and to be honest, I don't know what's happened to Sam Cosgrove. I said on the last video, which I believe was the St Johnstone one, when Sam Cosgrove was suspended, that I never needed to see Cosgrove again. If I didn't say it then, I definitely said it after the Rangers game at Ibrox. But the thing is, he scored 6 goals in 4 games, and it's not just that he's scoring goals. If he was just on a purple patch and scoring goals, you'd be like, fine. You know what I mean? Shit like this is going to happen. His performances have been excellent as well. He's a guy very high on confidence at the moment, and he's making a massive impact. I think there's sort of 3 levels a guy like Sam Cosgrove can play at. He can either be shit, he can either be okay but a nuisance. So like, even though he's not playing great, he's at least a nightmare to defend against, so that's decent. And then there's the way he's been the last few games, where to be honest, at times he's been unplayable. Guys, can he win the ball in the air off him? And yeah, he's actually been pretty good with the ball at his feet, and he's also been very good at hassling them up the park and winning the ball back. So major kudos to Sam Cosgrove. I am sorry for slating you. Granted, there's still plenty of time for it to go wrong, but at the same time, the performances over the last few games by Cosgrove have been fantastic. So definitely happy. Potentially we may have sorted out our striking options, because we have been missing a goal scorer, and obviously I don't expect Cosgrove to keep up the pace he has in the last 4 games, but at the same time, if he can find a middle ground between the guy who took like months and months to actually score a goal to the guy who we're seeing over the last couple of weeks, then that would be massive for our season. The performance today overall, I thought Aberdeen were well in control for pretty much the entire game. Hearts had a couple of moments here and there, but realistically I don't think anybody can have complaints about the result. I thought we deserved to win. 2 goals didn't flatter us, and I was really quite happy with the performance today. To go back to the ones I haven't done, the Livingston performance, I thought we were excellent in that second half, and I'm surprised it took us that long to win. The St Mirren game was okay. We were the better side. We were probably value for the 2-1 win, but it was a struggle. The weather was shit, and the Dundee game on Tuesday, we just mauled them. So I'm really happy with the way the team's playing at the moment. When you actually break it down, we have won, I believe, 8 of our last 11 games. We've won 5 of our last 6 and 4 in a row, so we really can't complain too much. I think when we got beat at Tynecastle, Hearts went like 10 points ahead of us that day. We're now 6 ahead of them, so it goes to show 2 teams going in very different directions. And I'm going to speak about Hearts because I'm actually really surprised at what's going on with them. But to talk about Aberdeen first, we'll just talk about the performance really. Obviously we got off to an amazing start. I think it was 63 seconds. Made down the left, cross into the middle. Cosgrove with a bullet header in the top corner, and straight away we're 1-0 up, and that's fantastic. You know, I thought, honestly, like, Hearts are one of those teams that can be a nightmare when they come up to Pittodrie. They have always been a team that has come up and made life difficult for us. So to get a goal within a minute and knowing that they're going to have to change their game plan at some point was massive today. And yeah, it was brilliant to get the early goal. It was brilliant to see Cosgrove on the score sheet again. It wasn't like we were playing swashbuckling football or anything like that, but we had a couple of moves where it was nice to see we were actually playing football again. There was too many times early in the season where, especially when we had a Cosgrove on, we're just pumping the ball at his heat, and it's no ideal. But I thought the football was mostly good today. Hearts had a couple of moments towards the end of the first half, but realistically I thought Aberdeen were really good in the first half. Second half, I didn't think was much of a game, to be honest. I thought the second half was actually a bit of a non-event. The only real talking points were, I thought Hearts were kind of unlucky not to get a penalty in the second half at 1-0. I thought Herring went down, and he did go down a bit easily, but I can't remember who the defender was for us, but he had the hand on the back, and I thought he was a wee bit lucky to get away with that. Obviously we get the penalty, which was a stonewaller. Berra has absolutely wrestled Scott McKenna down. Cosgrove's grabbed the ball and slammed it home for 2-0. And the other thing to talk about is Dimitri Mitchell, who, honestly, Dimitri Mitchell was so bad today, and I know he's a good player, and I know a lot of Hearts fans have really rated Dimitri Mitchell, but he couldn't do a thing right today. In the first half, he tripped over the ball, which was funny enough. There was another point, I think it was Sean Clare, he got messed up with doing his own wing and kind of ran into him and conceded a throw, and just nothing he was doing was working. And then he committed 2 really stupid fouls in the second half to get himself 2 bookings and sent off. So honestly, like, I genuinely can't imagine Dimitri Mitchell playing like playing as bad as that anytime soon. He was so bad. And I think the thing about Hearts today that kind of surprised me was that, yeah, I know they've got guys injured. I know obviously John Souttar's out. I know obviously Christophe Berra is no long back for injury, and I didn't think he looked fit today. I know obviously Uche Ikpeazu, or whatever he's called, is injured, and he looked pretty dangerous early in the season. He looked like a right handful. And yeah, I know Hearts have been hurt by injuries, but at the same time, you look at that team. I'm just going through the Hearts lineup at the moment, right? They had that boy Doyle in goal, never heard of him before. Their three centre-halves, Christophe Berra didn't look fit. Smith is okay. Haring, I think, is a really, really good player now. Haring's a guy that was playing great early in the season in the centre of the park, and he is a good defender. He's probably a better midfielder, and I actually thought today he showed signs of being a very, very good player. You look at their midfield five, Mitchell and Godinho, Bazanik, who I thought looked actually really good today, Sean Clare, who there was loads of hype about, but to be honest, I haven't seen it yet, and Ollie Lee, who I think is a really good player as well. So they had Naismith and Stephen McLean up front today. So when you go through like that team, even though they're missing guys, even though they're missing Souttar, even though they're missing Ikpeazu, even though Berra isn't 100%, that team should still be better than it was today. And it's just stunning to look at the difference in Hearts from early in the season when, yeah, they were grinding out some results, but they were always finding a way to pick up the positive result. And you look at them recently, I mean, they lost at St Mirren. They surrendered quite poorly, I thought, today. When they were on their good run, they played Celtic those two times and got blethered in both of them. So, like, Hearts to me, I've been really disappointed over the last month or two. And yeah, even with the team they had out today, like I say, I know they're missing important guys. I know it doesn't help that Berra isn't 100% fit. I know it didn't help that Dimitri Mitchell was fucking dreadful today. But I still think they should be better than that. So there's reasons for concern for Hearts. For us, we haven't fixed everything. There's still a couple of things that aren't perfect by any means, but considering where we were a couple of months ago, to be second in the table, granted Rangers do have that game in hand, I think is amazing, considering it's only a few weeks ago we were like 7th or 8th, so I'm really pleased with the turnaround. So yeah, Joe Lewis made one really good save one-on-one in the first half with Stephen McLean. Other than that, he had a pretty quiet day. Max Lowe, I'm really gutted if that's going to be his last game for us. He went off injured. It was a pass played to him, and it was obvious that he could have wandered and got the ball, and he just kind of stood there as it went past him, and I was like, he's fucked himself. So of course he goes down. I don't know what it is, calf, hamstring, whatever it is, but he's going back to Derby, which was obviously a big enough blow, and now it looks like we'll not have him for even the last 2 games. So that was a really sad way for potentially Lowe's career at Aberdeen to end. He's been really, really good since he came in. And especially over the past month, I think Max Lowe has been brilliant. I thought, particularly that 3 days in Glasgow in the cup final, I thought he was our best player. I thought he was so good at Ibrox when we won 1-0. Hopefully, it's nothing too serious and we will at least get to see him once or twice before he goes, but the chances are it's probably his last game for Aberdeen, so that's a massive blow. Centre-backs, both played well. Considine, I'm no fan of, but I thought he had a good game today. McKenna, the usual, strolled through it. I thought he was really, really good. Shea Logan, I thought was very good defensively. I thought his crossing was really shy today. It was high and loopy, and yeah, it was one of those where, like, even if you're getting on the end of them, you're going to have to generate all your own power, so that's no great, but defensively he did his job, and yeah, I've always been a big fan of Shea Logan. Midfield, I thought Shinnie and Ferguson both played very, very well. I thought Shinnie took control of the midfield at times. Ferguson very rarely wastes the ball. There's games like this constantly where you can just say the same thing about Shinnie and Ferguson, so that's really pleasing. Out wide, Niall McGinn had a weird game. I thought in the first half he was his deliveries weren't great, but his first touch was excellent in the first half. And what he was doing was just bringing the ball in and then helping to create something for that. So I really enjoyed that for McGinn. Second half, his first touch was like a baby elephant, so I don't know what happened. But yeah, I thought he had a really good first half. His deliveries were a bit wanting at times, but he was very good at bringing the ball down and making stuff happen in their half. So I like that. McLennan, didn't think it really worked for him today. He's exciting to watch. I think the big thing that I'm kind of taking away watching McLennan over the last few weeks, certainly since he's came into the team, is that he is exciting on the ball. He's direct. His decision making still needs to be tidied up, but that'll come with experience. And his anticipation isn't great. You know what I mean? Like there's a couple of times where like the ball will come into his feet, and there's an obvious pass to a guy in space, and he doesn't always take it on. He can be a wee bit indecisive, but there's definitely a good player in there. I've definitely got high hopes for Conor McLennan. I didn't think it was his best game of the day, but I thought he did all right. I would just like to see him be, at times, a wee bit more decisive, and at times anticipate what's going on around him a wee bit better. But that'll come. I'm confident that'll come. I mean, I think he's played less than 10 games in the first team, so there's plenty of time for that. And he's already given us plenty since he's been in, so we've got to be happy. Stevie May, great ball in for the first goal. I'll be honest, he didn't play well after that, but he was harrying and he was working hard and he was making life difficult for them. And when you're not playing well, if you can at least make things difficult, then you're doing something. I just wish he'd fucking score a goal for open play anyway. And it might just get him going, because there's been a couple of times the last couple of weeks where he's made like a great touch and he's got himself in space and then he's hit the shot right at the goalkeeper or something, or maybe the final ball's been lacking. His first ball in the day though was a beauty. Just a shame after that he never really built on it. And Cosgrove just continues to roll the last couple of weeks. It's amazing. Like I say, I don't know how long that's going to last, but I'm really, really pleased with how Sam Cosgrove is playing. And if we can just keep that going for the next couple of games, going into the winter break, then we could be sitting really pretty. The problem is we have Celtic next, and I think Celtic... The weird thing about Celtic is that they have been a bit up and down this season, obviously, but Celtic have a real nose for the big games. And I think I said that before the cup final, and they will see this as a big game. Despite the fact that we were going nowhere this season, we are now second. At worst, we will be third, depending on what Rangers do tomorrow. So I think that Celtic will be up for it. Celtic, honestly, at Pittodrie, haven't played poorly for a while, and I expect them to come up and put in a performance. We have to go in with confidence, though, particularly for two reasons. One, obviously, we're playing well, and two, we've played them twice this season, and both times have been pretty competitive. I think that both games, 1-0 them was probably the right result, but, I mean, we could have easily nicked a draw in the league game, and yeah, we didn't create enough in the cup final, but we were always competitive. So the home crowd on Boxing Day will be a big crowd, and hopefully that'll help us out. I will probably do a video on Boxing Day for that one. I will try and get back in the swing of it. I apologise because the last couple of weeks have just been completely bananas. But so I'm going to wrap it up just now. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed, I hope you've enjoyed. We keep fucking winning. Hit the red button below, subscribe if you're new. It really helps me build up the channel. Like the video as well if you enjoyed it, because it really helps me get it out there, and the more likes it gets, the more chance it is to show up on somebody else's feed. And if you know anybody who'd enjoy it, share it with them as well. I've been QMJ. It's nice to be back after a week or two. I'll talk to you again sometime.